Welcome back. Please like, share the video, and subscribe to the channel.
Welcome back to the Daily Dose. What a news day, Jamie. It feels like President Trump has been at the center of two major storms.
You can say that again, Alex. We're talking about everything from controversial social media posts to a massive lawsuit. It's certainly never dull in the news cycle when President Trump is involved.
Absolutely. Let's dive right into the first story that's garnered significant attention: the backlash over his comments regarding Hollywood director Rob Reiner and his wife, Michelle.
Wow, this one is quite jarring. After Mr. Reiner and his wife were tragically found dead at their Los Angeles home on Sunday, President Trump took to social media, and this is where it gets controversial.
That's right, Jamie. In his posts, President Trump actually attributed Rob Reiner's passing to what he termed Trump derangement syndrome. He further described Reiner as tortured and struggling due to his strong dislike for the president.
Unbelievable. And as you can imagine, those remarks immediately sparked widespread outrage. Public figures, including actor Patrick Schwarzenegger and television host Whoopi Goldberg, were quick to condemn them, calling them disgusting and vile.
Exactly. The criticism has been coming from across the political spectrum, highlighting just how sensitive these kinds of public statements can be, especially concerning someone's death. It really underscores ongoing societal divisions.
It truly does. But as if that wasn't enough, President Trump also initiated a significant legal battle today, right?
That's correct. Shifting gears, he filed a lawsuit against the British public broadcaster, the BBC, and the amount he's seeking is pretty eye-watering, at least $10 billion in damages.
$10 billion? That's an astronomical figure. What exactly is the lawsuit about, Alex?
Well, President Trump alleges that the BBC improperly edited a speech he delivered to supporters. This was in Washington, shortly before the January 6, 2021 storming of the U.S. Capitol. He'd actually hinted at this legal action earlier in the week, so it wasn't a total surprise.
So it's about media portrayal and editorial integrity. This really shows a consistent pattern, doesn't it? President Trump's frequent clashes with media outlets and cultural figures. He often uses social media to directly criticize those he perceives as biased.
You've hit on a crucial point, Jamie. These dual events really underscore a persistent theme of his presidency, an aggressive stance against media he feels is unfair. The BBC lawsuit in particular could reignite major debates over media responsibility.
Absolutely. It's a significant legal challenge, and it definitely adds another layer to the complex power dynamics between political leaders and news organizations. A very busy and impactful day for news, indeed.
Without a doubt. We'll be watching how both these stories unfold. Thanks for joining us on the Daily Dose.
My pleasure, Alex.
Welcome back to Tech Talk, everyone. Jamie, have you seen the latest from NVIDIA? They're always making headlines, but this one feels particularly big for the world of AI.
Absolutely, Alex. It's hard to miss. The graphics card giant, NVIDIA, just acquired a company called SkedMD. And for anyone deep into high-performance computing, or HPC, this is a really significant move.
Right. For our listeners who might not know, SkedMD is actually the main company behind something called Slurm. It's a very important piece of software, right?
Exactly. Think of Slurm as a traffic controller for massive computer systems. When you have huge data centers or supercomputers running lots of complex jobs, especially for things like training advanced AI models, Slurm makes sure everything runs smoothly and efficiently. It schedules and optimizes all those tasks.
Wow. So it's about making sure these super powerful computers don't just sit there, but are used to their absolute maximum potential, especially for those heavy AI workloads we hear so much about.
Precisely. As AI models get bigger and more complex, managing those computational resources becomes incredibly important. NVIDIA already makes the powerful hardware, the GPUs, that do the actual computing. Now, by bringing Slurm into their family, they're essentially getting more control over the software that manages their own hardware.
That's a smart strategic play, isn't it? It sounds like they're trying to own more of the entire AI process, not just the chips themselves, from the hardware to the software that orchestrates everything.
You got it. Industry experts are calling it a move to own more of the AI stack. It means they're not just selling you the engine, but also the navigation system that tells the engine exactly where to go and how fast. This should lead to much more seamless and optimized solutions for anyone working with demanding AI or HPC tasks.
So for researchers and developers, this means potentially faster AI training, more efficient use of resources, and ultimately pushing the boundaries of what AI can do. It's really about speeding up innovation.
Definitely. It underscores a huge trend. The software that manages hardware is becoming just as critical as the hardware itself. This integration by NVIDIA is expected to really impact how future AI and scientific research computing resources are deployed and managed globally. It's a big step for the future of AI.
Fascinating stuff, Jamie. Another example of how quickly the AI landscape is evolving. We'll be keeping an eye on this for sure.
Absolutely, Alex.
Welcome back, everyone. Jamie, ever wonder what it would take for the government to truly catch up with Silicon Valley when it comes to technology?
Oh, absolutely, Alex. It feels like a massive challenge, especially with how fast tech moves. What's the latest?
Well, President Trump's administration has just launched a major initiative called the U.S. Tech Force, and it's pretty ambitious.
Ooh, Tech Force sounds very official. What exactly is it aiming to do?
So the goal is to recruit 1,000 top-tier specialists into government roles. We're talking experts in fields like artificial intelligence, or AI, cybersecurity, software engineering, and data analysis.
Wow, 1,000 people. That's a huge number. So it's about modernizing our federal systems, right?
Exactly. The idea is to upgrade existing government technology, speed up how they use advanced AI, and really boost the technical skills within federal agencies. It's an urgent push, you know?
Right, because cybersecurity especially is so critical for national security these days. We hear about digital threats all the time.
Precisely. And these newly hired specialists are expected to serve for 2-year terms. The aim is to bring private sector expertise into public service to tackle these really complex tech challenges.
That makes a lot of sense. The private sector often has the cutting-edge talent. So this is a way for the government to directly compete for those skilled tech professionals?
Exactly. It really shows that the administration recognizes the need to bridge that talent gap. They want to ensure the U.S. government stays at the forefront of innovation and can respond effectively to new digital threats and opportunities.
So this U.S. Tech Force could really set a new standard for how the government recruits tech talent in the future. That's pretty impactful.
Definitely. It's a strategic push that could have broad implications for government technology infrastructure for years to come. Pretty exciting stuff for the tech world and public service. Hey everyone, and welcome back to Tech Talk Unpacked. Jamie, do we have some incredibly exciting news in the world of venture capital today?
Oh, absolutely, Alex. It's a huge headline that truly caught my eye. Lightspeed Venture Partners, a name many of us know in the tech investment world, has just announced the closing of an incredible $9 billion in new capital.
$9 billion. That's not just a big number, Jamie. It's actually their largest fundraise ever in their entire 25-year history. Talk about a massive vote of confidence from investors, right?
Right. And what's truly fascinating is where they're focusing this enormous sum of money. It's almost entirely about artificial intelligence, isn't it? They've openly stated an AI-first strategy.
Exactly. And they're not just paying lip service to it either. They've already backed an impressive 165 AI-native companies. We're talking about everything from the foundational models that power AI to enterprise infrastructure and even applied software across various domains.
Wow, 165 companies. That's a really serious commitment, and it shows they're truly embedded in the space. And they've got some pretty big names in their existing portfolio, like Anthropic and Mistral, which are, truly defining players in the AI sector right now.
They are, definitely. Anthropic, for instance, reportedly received a staggering billion-dollar investment from Lightspeed that really highlights their willingness and capacity to go big and support massive growth.
And the timing of this fundraise is really quite remarkable, Alex, because, the venture capital landscape overall right now, it's been pretty tough. Returns have lagged, it's been hard to raise money, and exits have been scarce for many firms.
You're absolutely right, Jamie. It is a challenging market. So for Lightspeed to secure such a huge sum, it really underscores deep investor confidence in their long track record, their disciplined execution, and their ability to support companies even through tougher market conditions.
Exactly. It's a clear signal that limited partners, the big institutional investors who put money into these funds, are concentrating capital behind established firms that they trust can deliver liquidity and foster durable businesses, especially in a competitive and rapidly evolving tech environment like AI.
And that's so crucial because modern AI development is incredibly expensive, isn't it? It requires massive spending on compute resources, attracting top-tier talent, and extensive datasets. This $9 billion means Lightspeed can truly support companies through those, frankly, billion-dollar funding rounds needed to innovate at the cutting edge.
Absolutely. It's a game changer for the entire AI sector, ensuring that promising companies have the deep pockets they need to truly scale and push the boundaries. What an incredible story.
Incredible stuff. We'll definitely be keeping a close eye on how Lightspeed deploys that capital and the impact it has on the future of AI.
Welcome back to the Daily Dose. Today, Jamie, we're diving into the often complex world of big pharmaceutical companies. Remember how everyone was talking about Pfizer during the height of the pandemic?
Absolutely, Alex. From their COVID-19 vaccines to treatments, they were everywhere. It really felt like they were at the forefront of global health.
Well, it seems the post-pandemic reality is a bit different. Pfizer just announced they expect their 2026 profit to be lower than what financial experts had predicted.
Oh, wow, that's a surprise. Why is that? Are people not getting COVID-19 vaccines and treatments anymore?
Exactly. That's the main reason. They're forecasting a significant drop in sales from their COVID-19 related products. That includes both vaccines and treatments. They anticipate about $1.5 billion less revenue from these in 2026 compared to their 2025 projections.
That makes perfect sense. The global demand definitely isn't what it used to be. But is that the only factor affecting their profits?
Not entirely. They're also expecting another $1.5 billion impact because some of their other drugs will lose exclusivity in 2026. That means generic companies can start making cheaper versions, increasing competition.
So other companies can basically copy their drugs once the patent runs out. That's tough for a pharmaceutical giant. What's Pfizer's CEO, Albert Bourla, planning to do about these challenges?
He's got a strategy. It includes a sweeping cost reduction program, launching new products, and also relying on some of their older, established drugs to maintain sales.
So they're trying to adjust, cut costs, and find new areas for growth. It sounds like a challenging period of transition for them.
Definitely. They even revised their 2025 revenue forecast downwards a bit. But it's not all about the immediate future. They're planning to invest more in research and development, or R&D, in 2026 to support new clinical programs.
R&D is always crucial for a company like Pfizer. Are there any specific areas they're focusing on for the future?
Yes, they're particularly keen on the fast-growing obesity market. They've acquired some companies and are developing new treatments there, which could be a huge area for growth.
So it's a period of significant adjustment for Pfizer, moving from pandemic-fueled growth to focusing on new strategies and markets. It's fascinating to see even the biggest companies needing to adapt.
Right. It's a clear sign that constant innovation and market adaptation are key, even for the most established players. Hey everyone, and welcome back to the show. Jamie, we've got some news from Down Under that might make Australian mortgage holders a little nervous.
You're absolutely right, Alex. It seems Australia's two biggest banks, Commonwealth Bank, that's CBA, and NAB, have updated their forecasts, and it's not the news many were hoping for.
Right. What's the new prediction?
Well, they're now anticipating the Reserve Bank of Australia, or RBA, to implement a cash rate hike as early as 2026. This is a shift from earlier hopes for stability or even cuts.
Wow, 2026. That's sooner than many people expected, isn't it? What's driving this change in outlook?
Exactly. It really comes down to persistent inflationary pressures and evolving economic data. These banks are reassessing the RBA's likely trajectory. In fact, NAB has already responded by raising its fixed home loan rates by up to 0.20 percentage points.
So, what does this actually mean for the average Australian with a mortgage? Give us an example.
Okay, let's take an owner-occupier with a $600,000 loan and 25 years remaining. A single 0.25 percentage point hike could increase their minimum monthly repayments by approximately $90. And if the RBA implements 2 such hikes next year, which NAB is now forecasting, that's a total of $180 extra per month.
Oof, 180 is a significant amount, especially when people are already grappling with rising cost of living pressures. That poses a considerable challenge.
Absolutely. And it's not just NAB. Westpac, another major Australian bank, has also made similar moves, signaling a broader trend in the market. Lenders are clearly adjusting to this changing economic environment.
So the big takeaway here is that borrowers need to be prepared for potentially higher financial commitments sooner than anticipated. Good advice, Jamie. Thanks for breaking that down for our listeners.
My pleasure, Alex. It's all about staying informed.
Welcome back to Global Gab, your weekly dive into what's shaping our world. Jamie, we've got a sizzling story today, literally about sizzling pork. What's cooking on the trade front?
You got it, Alex. Big news from the global trade front. China has just announced a significant reduction in tariffs on pork imports from the European Union. This is a huge deal for European farmers.
Right, and we're not talking about a small amount here. This is a massive sector, valued at over $2 billion. These reduced tariffs mean European pork will be cheaper for Chinese buyers. That's big for producers, wouldn't you say?
Absolutely. It's a crucial market for them. But this isn't just a friendly gesture, Alex. Analysts are seeing this as a direct response to something the EU did recently.
Exactly. The EU just imposed new duties or taxes on Chinese electric vehicles, citing concerns about unfair subsidies. They felt China was giving its EV companies too much financial help. So China's move with the pork looks like classic retaliation, doesn't it?
It totally does. It's like, you hit us on EVs, we'll hit you on pork. This really highlights growing trade tensions between these two economic giants. Key industries are increasingly becoming leverage points, tools in a bigger economic game.
Absolutely. While officially framed as an anti-dumping investigation looking into products sold too cheaply, the timing here, right after the EU's EV decision, seems too perfect to be a coincidence. It's a strategic move.
Definitely. It's a calculated move to apply economic pressure on the EU, and it really shows how intricate and often difficult the relationship is between China and its Western trading partners. Global supply chains are so interconnected now.
For sure. Both sides are increasingly employing economic tools, like tariffs and trade investigations, to advance their national interests and respond to perceived unfair practices. It's a fascinating, if sometimes worrying, dynamic to watch.
It really is. So what's next? Everyone will be closely watching how these reduced tariffs impact EU pork producers, and more importantly, if there will be any further reciprocal actions from either side in this escalating trade dialogue. It's a high-stakes game of economic chess.
A very high-stakes game indeed, Jamie. We'll definitely keep an eye on it here at Global Gab. That's all for today. Join us next time for more insights. Welcome back to Tech Talk Unpacked. Today, we're talking AI. Everyone's buzzing, but are businesses seeing the big benefits they hoped for, Jamie?
Great question, Alex. Short answer? Not really. Companies are keen on generative AI, but hitting big roadblocks getting real value.
Wow, not smooth sailing then. We hear all this hype, right? But Forrester found only 15% of execs saw improved profit margins from AI last year. BCG said only 5% saw widespread value. Huge disconnect.
It is, making businesses pause. Big gap between expected AI capabilities and actual delivery. Challenges, getting models to perform reliably, realizing human interaction can't just be swapped for a chatbot.
Exactly. Take Seller Tracker. They spent weeks trying to get their AI sommelier chatbot to give honest, critical recommendations, not just polite ones. Or Kando Rail found their AI chatbot couldn't consistently summarize complex safety reports.
Right. Perfect examples. Forrester predicts 25% of planned AI spending by companies in 2026 will be delayed by a year due to these issues, a significant slowdown.
Absolutely, Jamie. A big shift from initial consumer hype to a more sober, measured approach. Companies are now focusing on building solutions that truly work and deliver on efficiency promises.
Exactly. Genuine delivery. And Alex, there's a lot of hype about everything these days, whether new tech or even big promises from leaders like President Trump. Then reality hits, right? Businesses are learning that with AI, focusing on reliable, practical applications.
You got it. Even big AI companies like OpenAI and Google are intensifying efforts to work closely with businesses, understanding they need more practical tools. It's a wake-up call, but will lead to better, more useful AI.
Definitely. A necessary step to ensure AI truly benefits us all.
Welcome back to the Daily Digest, everyone. I'm Alex.
And I'm Jamie. We have some really significant news to discuss today, coming out of Australia.
Absolutely, Jamie. Bondi Beach in Sydney is such an iconic, beautiful spot, famous worldwide. But sadly, it was the scene of a devastating incident this past Sunday, and now Australian authorities have officially classified it as a terrorism-related act.
Wow, that's a heavy declaration, isn't it?
especially for a place so associated with sun and surf. So what exactly happened?
Well, the details are still emerging as investigations continue, but we know it was a shocking event, and the impact was quite severe. Around 40 individuals sustained injuries.
40 people? That's a huge number. And I heard that among those injured were some international students?
That's right. Reports confirm that 3 Indian students were among the 40 injured. 2 of them are currently receiving treatment in hospital, though their names haven't been publicly released yet. It's truly heartbreaking.
Absolutely. And this classification as terrorism really changes the whole dynamic, doesn't it? It's not just a random act of violence. It suggests a deeper, more sinister motive.
Exactly. It underscores the severity and has understandably led to heightened security alerts across the country. You know, it raises concerns about public safety in popular spaces everywhere.
Right, and the global community has certainly responded. India, of course, is closely monitoring the situation, given their citizens' involvement. Our thoughts are definitely with the victims and their families.
My thoughts exactly. Authorities are working diligently to uncover all the details about the attacker and any potential links to extremist groups. It's a stark reminder of the challenges nations face in safeguarding their people.
It really is, and the focus now, I imagine, is not just on the investigation, but also on supporting those affected and reinforcing security measures to prevent anything like this from happening again.
Precisely. A truly difficult situation, and we'll keep you updated as more information becomes available.
Hey everyone, and welcome back to News Unpacked. Today, we're diving into a really somber story out of Michigan that's captured a lot of attention.
That's right, Alex. We're talking about the ongoing preliminary hearing for 4 individuals, including the CEO of a center in Troy, Michigan, following a tragic hyperbaric chamber explosion.
A hyperbaric chamber, for those who might not know, is a special room where people breathe pure oxygen under increased air pressure, often for medical treatments. But in this case, it led to a devastating accident.
Absolutely heartbreaking. Back in January, this explosion tragically killed a 5-year-old boy and also injured his mother. Now the CEO, Tamala Peterson, along with safety manager Jeffrey Mosteller, primary management assistant Gary Markin, and operator Alita Moffett, are facing some very serious charges.
And by serious, Jamie, we're talking second-degree murder charges for Peterson, Mosteller, and Markin, with an alternative of involuntary manslaughter. Moffett faces involuntary manslaughter and falsifying medical records. It really highlights the severity of the alleged negligence.
Exactly. This preliminary examination has been going on for 6 days now. The whole point is to see if there's enough evidence to send them to a full trial. You know, what's coming out in court is pretty alarming.
It really is. Allegations suggest that crucial safety guidelines were completely ignored. Things like not using a grounding wrist strap, which is pretty basic safety, right? And even manipulating the chamber cycle count.
And that's not all. They also allegedly used flammable materials inside the chamber. We're talking about a blanket straight from a dryer, which can build up static electricity, and polyester pillows. In an oxygen-rich environment, that's incredibly dangerous.
Wow. Just hearing that makes you wonder about the safety protocols in place, or lack thereof. A certified hyperbaric technologist even testified, stating that this 5-year-old boy's death was entirely preventable.
Preventable. That's the key word, isn't it? The defense attorneys are, of course, cross-examining witnesses, trying to get into the specifics of what happened. But this case really shines a spotlight on how critical safety regulations are in these kinds of medical facilities.
Absolutely, Jamie. It's a stark reminder that when you're dealing with sensitive medical procedures, corners can never be cut. The adherence to safety standards isn't just a recommendation, it's a matter of life and death.
Precisely. And we'll keep following the story as it develops. A truly tragic situation that could have and should have been avoided.
Indeed. Thanks for tuning in to News Unpacked, everyone. We'll catch you next time.